My name is Alex Bluter. I'm a founder and international director for Epitrope International, the community that unites and coordinates students and alumni from different universities as a Christian organizations that deals with career development and other stuff. So I'm here to invite you all for our event. And before that, I would like to introduce my team, the people that I'm working with them, the people that have worked hard for this event, the people that always stand with me, and the team that we have been working to prepare this event. So I'll just mention their name, and from wherever they are, they will stand and they will introduce by their names by themselves. Yes, we have my brother is here, Mr. Bertin. Yes, may you clap for him. Just come forward. And also we have my sister, Sister Joanne. Please come forward. Yes. Also like to introduce, they will introduce by themselves, by their names, actually. And also we have Sister Margaret, is over there. Veronica. We have one of my brother, he's not here yet, he's Brother John Tarimo. He's in the way to this place. And also, the next person that I want to introduce to you is my sister, Upendo Fadhili. Yeah, actually, as the Epitrope International, we have the team from India, the team from Tanzania, and the team from China. But these people that are standing here are the people that I'm working with them. And there is one person who said that I should not introduce. But I have a lot of people that I'm working with them and plan, and most important for this event, these are the people that we have been working to make sure this event happens with their contributions, the ideas, and everything. So thank you so much. You may introduce by your names.
My name is Bertie.
My name is Emmanuel Ssekyanzi. I am Emmanuel. My name is Margaret. I'm Veronica.
Yes, I just want you to hear their voices. That's all I wanted to hear. And also to take a picture like this. Yeah, so guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And all of you that are sitting in the back, I'll just introduce in some other programs, but I really appreciate your presence here, and I'm humbled to stand before you. Thank you so much for coming. You look wonderful.
You too, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So my name is Emmanuel. I'm from Uganda. I just birthed myself a new name called Sharata. Yeah, so I venture into health entrepreneurship. So we basically do digital health, pharma, and hospital setups. That's what we have done. And so I'll be taking you through what happens when we do leave home, what happens when we do settle in the diaspora, and the most controversial thing of us going back, where we shall spend some time. And does it really mean to when we talk about diaspora entrepreneurship? And what is diaspora? Now, some of us, we are in India, but we are home. For example, me, I'm Emmanuel Patel. That's another name. So when I'm here, I'm in India. So Papa, what has happened? Technology wants me to speak without presentation? Because this is a new concept, diaspora entrepreneurship. So when I speak without something you're seeing, it might be a bit difficult. This guy, he cannot bring food when I'm going to speak. This does not work. People are not going to listen. People are going to snap themselves. And like to just make those who stayed home feel jealous. Like, see, we are not only hearing words, we also have fish. Yeah, Papa. Oh, okay. So, anyway, my first part is a story. Now, what happens when we do leave home? I was trying to picture what happens across the African continent before we leave home. And what I found out is, regardless of whether someone goes to UAE or someone comes to India, the day we leave home, people point it as a point of success. And it's so dangerous because some of us, we live like birds and we come back like birds. So that's a joke. I mean, we fly because you cannot come from Uganda to here by train. If it is possible, we would be on the road. So, because we are in good, finally. I can speak without forgetting where I had to start from, you see. Okay. Yeah, so our major point today is to run through the role of diaspora. And why I did not say the role of diaspora in innovation and entrepreneurship is I found out that it's an ecosystem. It's not about innovation and entrepreneurship. So basically, I wish I could have control of the slides. I don't know whether I have the control. I can move it. Okay, you can help me move to the next one. Now, Martin, I'm going to first keep quiet until you set up this thing. Okay. So let's move. Okay, fine. So I wish everyone gets out their book and make sure you use those things when you are eating so that you can write. Don't make two hands busy. Use the left hand to read and the right one to write. You can eat with the left. Don't use the right hand to eat because I know you will not write. Okay, let's roll now. So I've raised my voice. Now serious work starts. So we leave home, we settle in diaspora, and we return home. This is going to be our tonight's next 30 minutes or 15 minutes discussion. So let's go. This is I'm worried. So what happens when we leave home? Now, because we live in flight, people take it as a point of success. Now, you can never explain to any African family that you have passport, you have an air ticket and visa, you are not successful. That's very dangerous. So that's the major point that has spoiled the African continent, that we are termed successful because we live like birds and come back home as birds. And the day we are leaving, you could just imagine, we live for different reasons. Some of us, we are overwhelmed by the system. Some of us feel there is no right education. Some of us think the corruption is too much. And I was making the research for today to try to speak from a point of knowledge. And I found out that the current research of 2024, 58% of the African youths want to leave the continent in the next 3 years. And 3 out of 5 want to leave. Now, I tried to find out reasons why we are leaving the continent. And I found out that some of us leave because of the economic reasons. And some of us think that we are leaving because there's a lot of corruption. Now, the worrying part of this is I found that the major reason why people want to leave South Africa is because of corruption. So it was scary because South Africa is one of the model nations we have at the continent. And so I asked myself that, what if I put this picture aside this? So I'm not very good at designing my PPTs, but I said I'll put that picture. And I said, it seems like we are becoming rabbits now. Whenever things get hard, the political reasons are hard, we have become rabbits that we cannot go to hunt lions. The only thing we can do is to run away. And today I want you to question yourself, why over the time we have become rabbits? Is it because the people in Rwanda who had to fight genocide, the people who had to fight for their independence never became rabbits? And now where Africa, the economy is booming, people are more rabbits that 58% want to leave because of those reasons. So I found out a story to share with you. Now, I want to take us to a land of imagination. You think about a young man like Joseph. I'll use Joseph. Joseph is a young man, and he's 24, and he has just graduated his bachelor's of engineering. And after that, just before his ink dries on paper in his final examination, he's already having that burden that, the future is not going to be bright because there is no employment, there is no corruption. But that's not the worst scenario. The worst scenario is Joseph has a friend in UK, and the friend calls Joseph that, you see these roads, look at the snow, and this friend always sends back money to help the family. Now Joseph, what he does, he says, why don't I leave this country and go to this land of snow? But also Joseph is the same person who used to listen to his father telling him that in 1964, they had dreams of building their nation. And so Joseph feels disappointed because now the lands, we have a lot of potholes, there are no basic health, there's no basic education, and he feels like whatever his father told him was a lie. So what Joseph decides to do is I have to leave this country. And when Joseph tries to talk to his friends and say, I want to start something, they tell him, the politics in this nation will not allow you to build any business. So Jeff says, I need to go to Canada. But it's very difficult because I tried to look at the proverbs and I found one proverb from South Sudan. And the proverb says there are two things the African parents want for their children. And one is roots and the other is wings. So every African parent wants roots first before the wings. And the narrative now is we are looking for the wings first before the roots. We are not rooted in our nations, but we are running away. So I said, why? Why are we running away like this? Okay, the system is bad. So I remembered one funny story. This is funny. Just don't say I'm trying to say you were a bad person if you are taking alcohol, but I'm going to use that drunkard story. So, one thing about drunkards, one time I was sitting with my business partner and he told me, one thing about drunkards, they always find their drink wherever they go. They don't care whether Gujarat is a dry state, whether whatever Dubai is a Muslim country, as long as they want their drink, they will find it. And what happens, if they come to Ahmedabad and they don't find a drink, at least they will find another drunkard. Together they will chase their drink. And they will find it. So I asked myself, if a drunkard doesn't give up in a city that is dry, so take it that Africa is now a continent where there is no hope, it's so dry. Why the so-called educated people, we give up when things look dry and we run away from the country? These drunkards, they are committed that they can even drive a car. They put fuel of 4,000 rupee to go to Daman to buy a 100 rupee bottle. That's how they are committed. I spend 4,000 to get something of 100 rupee. But for us, when things get hard, the opportunities look stuck, the only thing we want to do is run away. And when we run away and come out of the country, now that's when we are called diaspora, immigrants. Now, when we migrate to the diaspora, the moment we call you diaspora, it means that you still identify yourself with the birth nation. But now it's getting worse because when we move again, we want to get green card to identify ourselves with the US. So that time you're not diaspora. Okay, let's go. So I told myself that I will not go forward before using the history to remind you where we have come from. Now, I do believe that us as the diaspora, we are in the right time to impact our nations. Because you look at all the people who caused the biggest impact at the continent, they were not actually in the continent. And if they were in the continent, they were attached to the diaspora in one way or the other. Because when you move out of the continent, you have different ideas, you have different opportunities, and you can connect your nation to the diaspora or to the other countries where you live. And allow me to take you to the first person, who is Patrice Lumumba of Ghana. Now, Patrice led Ghana to their independence, but he was never in Ghana. He studied in USA, in Lincoln University. And here he had his new philosophies about leadership. Let's talk about Jomo Kenyatta, who was in UK. And now, let's talk about Julius Nyerere of Tanzania. He was in UK. But then you could argue that Nelson Mandela changed the continent because he stayed in the continent. But again, his idea was globalization. He used to meet with global leaders and he used to exchange the ideas to fight apartheid. So you try to look at the leaders who changed the continent. Actually, they were not in the continent, which means us who are out, we have an upper hand to change the continent compared to our brothers that we left back home. Now, you name anywhere, you name about Uganda, the leaders who have changed Uganda. Let's talk about President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He wasn't in Uganda. He did his education from Tanzania. And he learned a lot from Nyerere, then he came back to Uganda. We don't have any leader who has done great change who was completely in Africa. So it is worrying that the leaders now who are performing poorly, most of them have been born and groomed in Africa. Is it because they are not exposed? No, it's because they are into a system that is corrupted, and you cannot tell me that the system that is corrupted is still going to create something beyond corruption. Okay, so we have an upper hand, and you just look at your brother and say, like, we are the right people. Let's move, Mr. Button. I like it, like you're doing this work. After here, I'll give you the money they paid me.
Oh.
So I asked myself, like, we might talk from these words, this person changed. I said, that example that I can use to show you what does it mean to come back home and create impact. Everyone knows here Apollo hospitals. So Apollo hospitals were founded by the founder, who is Pratap Reddy. Pratap is a US-based trained cardiologist. And he came back in 1983 to India and he founded the first corporate hospital, which is Apollo. And today we are talking to Apollo, which is having more than 1,300 pharmacies, more than 49 hospitals. It's a listed company and it is also one of the largest healthcare providers across Asia. But he was never in India. He was trained in US and he came back to create impact in 1983. He's not managing now. He has 4 daughters and under them, the 4 companies are being run. So if he could come here and change the way healthcare is provided, it means he saw something different. He saw something different in pharma. So how many of us here that think like, okay, my God, so if paracetamol is 27 rupees in India, why is it costing 200 rupees in Tanzania? And I always tell students, like, you don't tell me that, okay, now this, the problem with Africa is we like numbers. I've been at WHO, something very simple. We want to ask ourselves how many people are dying of Marburg in Rwanda, and someone is bringing data like presentation of 45 slides. We are asking, how do we stop Marburg's outbreak? We don't want you to tell us what happened in Ebola, then this graph, that graph, this line graph, this what thing, this, and we end up saying it's not possible. We need to ask ourselves, if paracetamol is 20 rupees, how do we make it 10 rupees? Is it possible? Yes. If it is possible, let's do it. If it is not possible, why? And here is the guy. We are talking about Apollo now as a brand hospital, and he was not in India. Okay? So I told myself, like, when we talk about Africa rising today, and we're talking about the top fastest growing economies, all of them being found in Africa. When you mention Rwanda, Ivory Coast, Niger, they are top 20 countries with the fastest growing. And it is very scary that all of them are in sub-Saharan Africa. So when you talk about sub-Saharan Africa now, Zimbabwe is out. So, so there are 48 countries with the fastest growing economy. And when you talk about sub-Saharan Africa, it means you mean Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, Sierra Leone, whatever. But how come we have the 9 most growing economies, but we want to run away from where we are growing to Canada, which is not the fastest growing economy? Is it mindset? So this is when I bring in the definition of what is our major topic today, which is diaspora entrepreneurship. A bit back, I think you want to chase me again back. I think you want to move. Yes. See, this guy is leaving the major topic. So what is diaspora entrepreneurship? Diaspora entrepreneurship means these are ventures or entities that have been started by migrants who left their countries and went to another country, but they still identify with their home countries. Now you don't say that, now because I became a US person, I have a green card. No, as long as you're in US, but you're still having a Tanzanian passport, you're a diaspora migrant. And so over the years, before the 20th century, we had the diaspora business done as merchants. So where we had the Jews, the Indians, the who. But now, because of globalization, where everyone is connected over internet, it's now global. You can sell anything, anywhere, okay? We have seen Tanzanian ugali shops in USA. And now we have seen the same USA shops in Uganda. So we are a global village. But now there are 2 things I wanted to discuss, which is necessity entrepreneurship and opportunity entrepreneurship. Now, most of us, we are necessity entrepreneurs, and we think we are doing a lot in our countries. What it means with necessity, it means that you started a business to solve your need. In small terms, you are self-employed to yourself. Okay. In self terms, you employ 1 or 2 people, but it's only solving your problems. You're not creating a lot of employment opportunities. And to be true to you, the necessity entrepreneurs, they contribute to uplifting the lifestyle of themselves and their employees, but they don't add anything major to the economic development of the country. So most returnees or people who come back to Africa, most of them have decided to become necessity entrepreneurs. I have my small clinic with 2 drugs in the pharmacy and 1 city machine. So you're a necessity entrepreneur. And then we have what we call the opportunity entrepreneurship, and these are people who see the gap. And then after seeing the gap, they do invest in that to create more opportunities, innovation, and entrepreneurship. They move the industry. Let me give you one thing that is I saw today. So today I told the research team at office, please, you get for me the minimum charge of a CT scan in the whole East African countries. And you know what was the minimum? It was 190 USD for 1 CT scan. And I asked them, find for me the minimum in India. These Indian people, they're doing the same thing on 1,000 to 1,500 rupees. Now, I asked myself, why is it too expensive? Does the machine change? No. Does electric consumption change? No. But it is mindset. So if you go, I tried to ask them that, okay, break down for me if I pay tax, electricity, what? I found out that actually, if someone wants to start a diagnostic business, it's better for you to start it in Africa than in India. If you put 1 X-ray machine in Korezi, in DRC, it will give you 850 rupees per day. If you're doing it in India, where the CT scan, the X-ray is 400 rupees, it's going to give you 180 rupees per day. You are doing 1 X-ray in Korezi at 1,800 rupees, you are making 850 after everything. You are doing X-ray in India at 400, you are making 180. And then I found out why every hospital almost in Ahmedabad has a diagnostic center in Lumbashi, in Korezi, and Kinshasa. Because they found out that they are more profitable over there than us here. So why do we feel like you cannot make money at home, but you can make it in Canada? When an Indian is feeling like he can make more money and is shifting. Today I talked to one doctor, he's leaving to go to Korezi. And I asked him like, but I hear that DRC is not secure. I said, bro, you don't know. DRC is very secure. I even have a very portable X-ray. I go down in the villages to take X-ray. I asked him, how much are you charging them? He said, I'm charging them 800 rupees. And the border guy I go with him, I give him 100 rupee per family. So I'm making 500 rupee after everything. In India, I'm making 180. So I'm shifting my family to Korezi. But I'm a fellow African. What am I thinking about? DRC, there are wars. There is death. Someone 7,000 kilometers away, what is he thinking about? I'm making extra 400 rupees from one X-ray. It's mindset. And today we have to change from necessity to opportunity. Other people outside of our continent are seeing opportunity. We see necessity. And now, if I bring 2 students from Uganda to Peru, I have my 600 USD from Bensa. That's enough for my food at Marriott. You don't think about moving investment from here to create another college like Peru in your country. What you think about, if I bring 1 student, I get 300, that's enough. I'll give my landlord 5,000 plus electricity. I give my girlfriend 1 new dress. Bro, I'm another. You are not another. You are just a necessity entrepreneur. And that's where we are. Okay, we go to the last slide so that we finish. I hope I'm not boring. I'm trying to joke around, but not. Okay. But we have to take the wheels. We are the youngest population in the whole world. The country where I come from, not being #1 world country in taking alcohol, you know, we are ranked #1. Every time in that competition, we are there. We are Usain Bolt. Everyone knows we are going to take the gold medal. So apart from that, we have 50.05 of the Ugandan population 18 years and below. That is power. But that is not going to scare you. 1 in 4 people by 2050 in the whole world is going to be African. Because some Asian countries have actually declared infertility as a national emergency. But we are very fertile at the African continent. So, which means we have to take the wheels. We have to lead. We have to move innovation. And I think the first thing we need is belief. We need to believe in our own continent. We need to tell our story different. Because I feel like the people outside are telling our story better than us. Just imagine an Indian today told me that Korezi is making better money, it's a safe place, and me, I'm saying Korezi is not safe. There is Kony there, they are rebels. And he's telling me he has been there 3 months in Korezi, he's moving at 5 a.m. to job, and he has never seen anyone attack him. So we need to tell our story better. But to tell our story better, we need to believe. 2, we need to risk a little bit. Now, what I call risk a little bit, since most of us, we are students, I'll say Benson knows I disturb him every day. If I have a WHO call in Gambia, I'm not going to do my exams. Everyone knows from everywhere, from Isaac, from everywhere. And I don't care if I repeat the year. For you to get something else, you have to risk a little bit. We have to risk a little bit. If it means us going back home to see how it works, to start a new business, we have to risk a little bit. If we are not going to risk and we think we are going to go to Canada, then we are one. Who is not following me on Instagram? Sharata. We are one. Everyone has to follow me because this 2024, I'm the most handsome person on Instagram. Yes. Everyone comments like, bro, you are cute. I'm like, yes. Today I posted another picture and I didn't see your like. So let us not like each other. Let us follow each other's work. We are one. I don't care whether you are from Zimbabwe. You are Sharata, I'm Sharata. I don't care. See, I'm happy now I've known her name. Every time I'm trying to read her name, I cannot really understand her spelling. But now I know her name. I always tell her I've been in her country more than her since she came in India. Because everywhere you go, you have to come back to Ethiopia. Yeah. If you want to go to DRC, you have to come back to Ethiopia. If you want, you have to go to Kenya, but you have 90% chance not to get your luggage when you reach DRC. So I have to go back to Kenya. So we are one. Whether you are from Tanzania, if we are going to change the continent, we have to be one. Then collaborate. We don't want to collaborate. Everyone wants to be the first African, but this pains me. Me, I'm first. I'm not a first African. I'm first student to win best gold medal startup. I don't care. You don't tell me first African student. You post it. I told the person making poster for PRC. They asked me, Emmanuel, we posted you on LinkedIn. Why didn't you repost? I said, you put first African. I'm first. So let us not fight each other. I'm first African to sing. First African to dress good. We want always to be first African. Why don't we want to be first? Why do we want to fight our fellow race? I'm first African to drive good car. And then, Papa bless you, I'm first African to drive up to Mumbai. Bro, Indians have done that every day. Why? Obviously, there is no African who's going to fight you, bro. I drive up to Wagodia. They knock me every day from Wagodia Bridge. I'm first African to overtake Bensa. Yes, we are afraid to overtake him when he's driving. But why do you want to be first African? You have to be first. You are the first person to bring CT scans in DRC. You are the first person to change the media in DRC. You are the first person to change education in Zimbabwe. You are first. You are not first African. You are first African and then you think you are successful. You have to be first. Then consistency. This is a very bad thing. Today, I think by the time we leave this room, everyone is going to be motivated. You will see status. Beautiful event. We go to build Africa. Hashtag together we can. After 1 week. No, not back to default state. To Google Chrome. How to go to US without IELTS. Next question. How to pass IELTS without studying. YouTube classes of IELTS. Is IELTS better or TOEFL? And then you realize that after passing IELTS, next open interview for US visa. Like you said you want to build Africa. Now you want to get IELTS to go. And the best search I've seen, the worst search I've seen, how to stay in US without a visa. People are searching this thing. How to become permanent, how to get green card without marrying an old woman. These are all things we are searching. So today when we leave this room, we have to be consistent. You said you're going to change Zimbabwe? Yes. If anything is not moving, you are moving. You are going to be judged. You know, when you post that I'm going to be next president, I told someone I'm going to be next president of African Union, and so Tom told me, you are not even president of your home. You want to be, I said, bro, you first relax. Because today I've warned that. Even if you're not changing anything, move. Lastly, innovate. We are talking about innovation. It's not product, it's service delivery. We need to innovate from product, from service delivery, from everything. This is my last message to you all. People think innovation, I'm going to build an app. Every time I see every African who is coming to talk to me, Emmanuel, help me build an app. Which app, bro? You want to solve hunger. You want to create apps. So people to go on app and say what? How to survive hunger? You want to create ChatGPT for what? Because the problems we have in Africa are not apps. When we made our first app for Siravax, the app is useless. It is 10% of the problems we are facing. Joshua is spending 90 hours training nurses on how to type on laptop. You train them today, tomorrow they tell you they don't know whether it is delete or backspace. And then you want them to use app. They don't know how to switch on Wi-Fi. So all our problems are not app. They are not product. some of them we have to innovate how we deliver. If the last example I will give you is Jumia Food. Now Jumia came to Africa, and then they thought that for us we are like Indians, that we want fast food. Now they have closed with a loss of $85 million. Lastly, they closed in Tanzania. Because what they did, in Africa, you send me ugali. I want hot ugali. You put it on your motorbike, by the time it reaches my home, it is cold. What African parents would do? Please take it back. And Jumia has lost it. Because we have to innovate across that. You want to create another Jumia in Africa? Do it the African way. We don't want fast food. We want good food fast. Make it hot and good and deliver it fast. That's another African way. So my advice, lastly, is innovate, but innovate the African way. Make sure you locally own our solutions. We locally participate. And I hope after here, most of you are going to come back home. You're not going to search how to get green card by marrying an old woman in US. You search how to settle in Uganda by marrying an old woman. We will give you. Yes, we will give you in Uganda. I will get you one. I'm going to marry in Ethiopia, yes, because no. So, see you all, and thank you for listening to me. I hope you will come and change something back home. My name is Emmanuel.